My name is Peggy Carson Litzenmeyer. I'm a native of Latonia, Kentucky, and I studied piano with good old Jimmy Lee in Covington, Kentucky, who lived to be 95 and taught many pianists in this area. And then I moved to Ohio, and I was always interested in this large called square grand Steinway because there are not very many of them. I had gone to an auction in the 70s, and there was a Steinway square grand at this auction. Everything sold except the square grand, and they took it outside, and the volunteer fire department chopped it up and put it in a construction dumpster, and I thought that will never happen again. Had I been able to get it then, I would have gotten that one. However, I came across this piano at a home in Blue Jay, Ohio. The family had purchased it and paid to have it totally restored by Mr. Alvin Bird in 1985. They thought their children were all going to be extremely good pianists, and the kids hated it. Even with a room especially built into this very attractive solar home in Blue Jay, it just sat there. Nobody touched it, so they put it in the paper, and I saw it, and I went and looked and bought it. So I've had the square grand since 1986, shortly after it was restored. The restoration, unfortunately, was they did have to take all the ivories off because they were so broken. So this is why it has this very stark white synthetic keys. However, the soundboard was perfect, and you do not find good soundboards on an instrument that was made in 1867, we think. Now, inside the piano, cast in the structural steel, because it's really heavy, there are dates. There are also inscribed in some of the hardwoods. The technicians that made it burned in their names and the dates. And so you have to pull this all the way out. The tuners know how to do that, but I do not, and I would not do it. Also, when it was restored, they took all the paper ringlets that had been cut out of newspaper, a Civil War newspaper. We do have those here at the Boone County Library. They're in a little envelope, and if you laid them all out, you can see little portions of dates and portions of names. So it gives it a really good provenance. And I think it was made in New York as opposed to Germany, and part of about 5,000 that were made in total because they're very, very bulky. It takes a great deal of effort to move them. I think it came by boat down the river and somehow wound up in the Midwest in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana. So I only know its history since 1985. And about a year ago, I thought it's really time to think about a place for the big baby, the big square Steinway. And so my husband, who is very active in the Kenton County Historical Society, put a little email out to the area. And the very next day I had over 25 museums and libraries interested. Down to Tennessee, way down in the southern part of Tennessee. It was hard to make a choice, but I wanted it close by. And when Boone County Library expressed an interest, I thought, yeah, this is it. This is the new home, and I want it used. I don't want a piece of tape saying do not touch. An instrument is to be played. And so here it is, and I'm hoping that the community will use it often and for anybody. Just if you want to sit down and just see what it sounds like, because it does have a different sound, it has a different touch. The hammers strike up underneath. Only a few piano tuners care to work on it because it is a backbreaker. You have to take two people to get the lid up, and then because the strings go horizontally, you see. I'm very pleased that the Boone County Library wanted it. It was sad. A lot of people kind of wept. There was one guy already in his car from a museum in Tennessee, was coming up the next day, and I thought, oh, wait, you know. So there was a lot of interest, and I'm happy to donate it to the Boone County Library, and I expect it to be used.
The young folks